Hello. I wanted to make sure that if you weren't able to be in class today, and because we're having a shorter class, that I would record a video about your reading narrative or your reading history. Now, due today in class was the Finnish Comp 3 handout, which was the vocabulary, the article Children Are Not Too Old to Change, as well as the reading memory paragraph assignment, where you journaled about your memories as a reader. So hopefully you have that done and can hand it into class today, or if you're not able to be in class, you can hand it in on Monday. Now, attached to the email that is accompanied with this is this handout on your reading narrative or your reading history, and you might want to print it out so that you can kind of follow along. So what is a reading history, a reading narrative? Well, some of you may remember this book. The sun did not shine, it was too wet to play, so we sat in that house all that cold, cold, wet day. We sat there, Sally, we sat there, we two, and we said, how we wish we had something to do. Do you remember what that book that's from? It's actually from the book The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. When I was younger, I loved Dr. Seuss. He also wrote a book called Green Eggs and Ham. That Sam I am, that Sam I am. I do not like that Sam I am. Another favorite book of mine when I was growing up was a book called Frederick by Leo Lionni, which was a little bit about a mouse who stored up treasures and memories for the cold winter. Some of you may remember this book. It's called The Rainbow Fish, and it was a book that had scales on the cover, and I know my children used to like to touch those scales and feel those different and see how those shiny things. So for me, when I think about my reading history, books have always been really important to me. But of course, you may not have had the same experience. So who are you as a reader? What role has reading played in your life? In this class, you'll be asked to think intentionally about how your past experiences, feelings, and family's cultures have combined together to create your reading narrative, the story and history of who you are as a reader. So this class begins with the questions of who you are as a reader and the role that reading has played in your past. You need to approach reading actively. An important place to begin is to think about how your past experiences have either gotten in the way of or helped you be a proficient reader. For this essay, you're going to be asked to think about your reading history and what has made you in the reader you are today. What are the underlying beliefs and experiences that have formed you? A possible place to start this journey is to think of your first memories of reading or writing. And that's why I had you write that little paragraph, to kind of start thinking about what do you remember about reading. Now here are some additional questions. You can think about reading before you went to school. What was your fondest or your first memory of learning how to read? What do you know about your family's history of reading or remember reading about in school or at home? Did people read in your house? Or how about when you went to school? What successes did you have? What was difficult? What was memorable when you went to school? And even now, what does it mean to you now? What are your goals in college? What do you find difficult about reading now? Do you read a book before you see the movie? Or do you see the movie first and read the book? What's your favorite place to read? All these questions, which are included in the handout, can help you think about you as a reader now and who you have become or who you were as a reader from before. So basically, this is a 2-page essay that you're going to write, and it's going to be in MLA format. It's not due until Monday, February 18th. And I actually have 2 examples of a reading narrative. One is mine and one is my colleagues. Because in this assignment, a reading narrative, it can be based on many different things, and it can look many different ways. And we'll be talking more about this on Monday, but I wanted to give you a heads up and to have you thinking about who you are as a reader. Now for Monday, February 4th, make sure you do the online work on D2L. You're going to watch 2 introductory videos about Jeanette Walls, who is the author of The Glass Castle, which is the book we're going to start reading. And I want you to post on the discussion board about these videos. You're going to research on homelessness using the handout that is also attached to this email. And you're going to post on it about something that you discover in your research. And finally, I would like you to bring The Glass Castle to class on Monday because we're going to start to talk about it. So that's just a little bit about what we were going to do in class today, what we will be doing in class today, and also may help you as you're thinking about who you are as a reader. Make sure to look at the handout a little bit more carefully, and hopefully that will help to answer your questions as well. So I'll see you on Monday. Bye.